changed and went pro-Trump. They want to teach these people a lesson because the deep state, the police state, the intel state, the shadow government were never more happy, Shaun, than during COVID when we were so scared. And all of a sudden, because I think people are saying, is the coast clear? I'm not going to go into detail, but there's a lot of stuff that's being said right now that you couldn't say, I don't know, a year or 2 years ago. So and I'm saying be very careful because the people who don't think for a moment that once Trump leaves office, things aren't going to revert to the way they were. So they loved that. So what are they doing right now? Lawfare, defamation. Defamation is a way to go. Defamation. Laura Loomer brought a defamation case against Bill Barr. And during the course of her, you heard this about Lindsey Graham. I know these names you may not know, but defamation is now, in the old days, we used to laugh at defamation. There's no defamation. New York Times against Sullivan. Nah, you're never going to prove malice. Not anymore. Because people are not asking whether Shaun Attwood was damaged. They're asking whether you dislike the person who said this about Shaun Attwood. It's a personality thing. It's not about, look at Alex Jones. I still cannot believe how what he was basically, and I wasn't there, but Shaun, what we do is we always, in many respects, are qualifying and objecting to what amounts to historical notes. Vietnam, Watergate, 9/11, whatever it is. We're always saying, I don't think that happened the way that. Well, what are we doing? We're revisionists. So let's say, for example, that you decide to say something where you say, I don't think they landed on the moon. I'm just saying. Let's assume you say that. So Buzz Aldrin's family sues you because Buzz now has to live in fear because of all of the people that are driving by the house in the middle of the night and threatening him because of what you said. And you say, wait a minute. I didn't say go after Buzz Aldrin, the astronaut. See where this is going? To do with Alex. It's not what he said. It's the fact that he basically incited people. And see where it goes? Under the rubric of defamation. Defamation is the new lawfare. And people, once I make you skittish, once I have you start doing this, I'm just an opinion, in my opinion, I'm just saying, then your show's no good anymore. There's no bite to it. You got to be able to say something. You got to be able to have an opinion that doesn't always preface with, it's just like in the old Seinfeld routine where you have to say, gay people, not that there's anything wrong with it, but it's my opinion. So these are very, very scary times. I mean, we are really, so dovetailing back to what we said, we are pretending, you and I, my friends, are sitting in the car seat like this. And we're talking about this. And you talked about Diddy. What did you accomplish with Diddy? Anything? I mean, other than great.
I got a few lawsuits, threats, legal letters.
But the thing is, sometimes you have to say something, and but a letter for what? You see, here's the thing. When there's a new one going on, let me tell you this much. Laura Loomer, who I don't know if she's out of her mind. She's to me so interesting. She and Nick Fuentes. Laura Loomer, now listen to this, was involved in a lawsuit against Bill Maher. Bill Maher basically alleged that she might have had some type of a dalliance with the president, and that wasn't true, and that affected her as okay. Already I'm thinking, okay, well, whatever it is. And during the course of this defamation, or during this deposition, she says, yeah, Lindsey Graham, South Carolina senior senator, yeah, Lindsey Graham's gay. You go, what? Wait a minute, what? What are you talking? What? She says, well, I'm under oath. She says, I'm not even asking you about this. That's like saying, yeah, and Jackie Kennedy killed John Kennedy. What? Well, I'm under oath. I'm not asking you about that. Then they're talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. You heard about this, and she has roast beef in her pants. And they say, hold it, stop. What are we talking about here? What's going on? Because there's a certain amount of immunity when you're testifying. We're going kind of berserk. All right. But here's my story. You're Shaun Attwood. You go out there and you say, talk to me, love me, love me, pay attention to me, notice me, notice me, notice me, but don't say anything that hurts my feelings. Wait a minute. Don't say anything. Because I could say, I think this guy Attwood's crazy. How many times have you said that? Oh, you're accusing me of mental illness? That's actionable. I didn't say it. I think he's crazy. Or I think maybe, I think what he's doing is illegal. Oh, you're accusing me of a crime? By the way, that's libel per se. In the United States, when you accuse somebody of certain characteristics, certain categories, accusing somebody of committing a crime, a woman of being of unchaste character, of somebody having a loathsome disease, I don't know, AIDS or leprosy or something, damages were presumed. Well, how many times in the course when you're talking about somebody in office, you go, he's a crook. Yeah, I think that Ted Kennedy killed, Mary Jo Kopechne. People say this all the time. They're prominent people. It's news. You're telling me that little old me caused what? And you're also asking if somebody, I want to tell like Brigitte Macron, okay, I know this is terrible, but she's Candace Owens. And if she says you're a Martian next, or you're ET, when will this stop? When do you use your bully pulpit and sit there and say, and then level somebody and say, I'm too busy. I've got a country to run here. So I don't know about that either. I'm just, as much as she may be wrong, I'm wondering, are you kidding me? So why are they bringing a suit? What, and why in Delaware? Not in France. Well, France has their libel case. Their libel laws are virtually toothless. So what I'm trying to tell you is, now look at the parallel. In some respects, we have the most punctilious, overreaching, priggish, absolutely schizophrenic lawfare system that won't let anything go. But when it comes to the biggest predator in the history of humankind, nothing. Nothing. Nobody knows anything. Nobody says anything. Nothing. And the only people who said anything, like Virginia Giuffre, she gets sued. Now, she's the victim. And of course, that was dismissed. That's fine. Got to do what I'm doing. Do you see what's going on here? It's a joke. Where are we going with this? This should shock the conscience. Our duty as citizens, damn it, we run the show. These clowns work for us. They're our employees. I'm the boss. And now you're telling me I can't say certain things because I might hurt somebody's feelings? Come on.
So are you saying that Candace is going to lose this lawsuit and get a huge judgment against her?
Yeah, most people are betting on it. Absolutely. And it's not because remember, read the counts, not the bits about I think you're a man. Read the other things, the other counts, but she's saying crimes. And she went berserk. She had this feeling and she keeps doubling down. And then if you and I can say things, and sometimes we could say like, well, and by the way, let me just say something. I'm not saying that I'm in favor of her being sued. I still believe I'm an absolute First Amendment absolutist. Freedom of speech. The best, you go after her by using your pulpit and you can say, I'm gonna make a fool out of her. Get your private detectives or do whatever you have to do. But we don't go into court. It's like the rule of the mafia. Never sue anybody. Ever. For anything. We don't sue. We don't go to divorce. We don't use the court. We handle it, and I'm not suggesting violence. But what she said, otherwise, like I was saying, if I told you, I believe that there might have been some kind of an MK Ultra, and you might say, okay, because we're used to it. We've been studying this for so long, and we're aware of it so long that we know that it's not that crazy. It really isn't as crazy as people think. This stranger things have actually happened. Okay, but if you get somebody who says, I don't like this Candace Owens, and now she's saying what? She's saying that he was a part of the Mossad and the deep state. This woman's crazy. She's a lunatic. She's dangerous. Now let's talk about what we owe her. And if we find that, did you say this? Remember, she has to show that Brigitte Macron has to show malice because she's a public figure. Do you have any evidence that Candace Owens said this, knowing these to be false, or with a reckless disregard? And how many times did she have the chance to either correct herself or do it? And she said, no, I bet everything. And Piers Morgan's offering all these offers of money. And it's just, now her back's against the wall. And maybe she feels like, look, I'm Candace Owens. Because my friend, the worst thing you can do in this business is ever believe your own hype. Like you're Superman, like you're impenetrable. They love me. And as soon as they lower the boom on you, they'll go to somebody else. And it's a very, very dangerous thing. And I'm not. Remember, aside from this, I respect a lot of what she does. She's smart as a whip. She says some things, but there's this thing that comes across. Give me an idea. You can say a lot of things about what's going on with Israel, and I understand this. Max Blumenthal and Judge Napolitano, these people are they never lose their minds. It's never personal. I mean, it should be, but it's very, very sterile, very academic, very professorial. That's the best way to be. They don't lose their mind. They don't anger. And it just drips. And you think, oh my God, she's her own worst enemy. Wait till you get her in a deposition. And remember, this is civil. So you got to have deposition. Where did you learn this? How many times did you get the chance to correct yourself? How do you know this? How do you know? I mean, there's a balance here. Remember, I don't think what she said was correct. I just don't like the courts, me, a lawyer. I don't think the courts are the best way to handle these things because this has a chilling effect. Everybody's going to, and now with the internet, we've got to have, believe it or not, make lawfare even less acceptable because there's more people saying crazy stuff. You've seen it. There are people who come after you and your family and God knows what. People wouldn't believe the stuff you've got to put up with. Or you think, this is horrible. And I'm sure people in your family have said, hey, they're talking about us now. Ziggy's mom and you. I think, well, listen, this is who is it? Like Hyman Roth said, this is the business that we elected, that we selected. This is what I got myself into.
Nikki wants to know, don't you think Candace has evidence?
Why don't you show it? What the hell are you waiting for? Show it on the air. What are you waiting for? You see, the fact that you asked that question means you don't have the evidence. Why don't you just say, here it is. Here is a picture about this. And you know how they always have somebody, my guest today is Dr. Seymour Butts. And yes, and I was her doctor. And of course he'd be violating. That might be good. Where's the evidence? Her hands, what somebody said, rumors. Let me tell you something. I was talking to somebody the other day about Michelle. And by the way, I have no feeling. My inclination is I would bet against her being a man. I would bet against Michelle Obama being a man. And somebody even said to me, oh, I've seen those pictures. You go, schmuck, this is AI. This isn't even AI. They just put a picture. Oh my God. I've heard people say this. But aside from that, there's an anger here. And there's something that's really, it's like once this momentum starts, nobody even cares about clarifying this, and it gets mean. And what's the relevance of this? Why does anybody, and this is another thing too, which I think it's one thing if you're a French, you can say, listen, I'm a French citizen. This is my first lady, and I don't like this. You're in Nashville or whatever. What the hell do you care? Who cares? Why are you showing this? And this is this meanness. Why are you so mean? This isn't fun. Sometimes you can say, I don't know. I think this is, where you kind of, it's almost playful. So, I mean, you can kind of say, okay, well, whatever. But this will go down in history. Put it this way. There is Ask yourself, find anybody in the community who says, oh, she's got it nailed. Candace. They're saying, oh my God, back up. And also, it's one thing to sit there and say that not only are you involved in this, but you were involved in that PDF file stuff. And, you know, that's a bad word today. And so now you're talking about predators and this and that. I mean, you know, this is not, there are 22 counts, roughly. Not just is she a man? Is she a dude? No, that's part of it. It's full. And this is, so I'm telling you, don't bet on that one. Even Piers Morgan, when Piers Morgan, okay, who is dumb as rocks, when he does it, when he says, I think I'm going to jump in on this now, that means it's 100% it's a sure thing. Because he never gets involved in anything. You notice how long it took him to say anything about Israel? How long did that take? How long did that take? I believe that children. Because, yeah, meaning I've gone far enough. I've been riding the fence, which is a smart way to be, I guess. He's like, put it this way, he makes Geraldo Rivera look like a genius. That's how bad that is.
So we've got about 10 minutes left. People are asking about Diddy. And people are asking about Comey as well. Why Comey was fired?
Which was fired because, first of all, because she is absolutely, she's James Comey's daughter. Number one, they don't want any. Why did it take so long? See, that's another thing. I would have had, give me the list right off the bat. I would have walked into the Department of Justice and say, whoever has a job, take one step forward. Not so fast, Maureen. You, get out. You serve at my pleasure. What are these people? What are they doing? Why did it take this long for this to happen? Why? We're out of all the people, why is Trump picking Dan Bongino? Do you hear Dan? From the core, from my soul, I am so, shut up. Get out of here. And you got Kash Patel, poor guy, you know, Kash Patel. He's kind of, and Pam Bondi. This is, can you imagine the Department of Justice, somebody like Robert Jackson, the famous attorney general during Nuremberg, Bill Barr, even John Mitchell, even Merrick Garland, the attorney general, she comes out and they just want to get on Fox News. They want to get on Fox News. So why is Tulsi Gabbard going on Fox News? And we have these, and we have this, and here we have this. These people are, what are you telling people for? The DNI, Department of National Intelligence, and we're going to do this, and it's going to be, and they're telling everybody up to and including Obama and others that they're going to prove Russiagate. What are you doing? I would have sat back and said, now listen to this. I want your entire audience to think about this. Okay. Imagine, thought experiment. Breaking news. Well, what's that? Dateline, Chappaqua, Westchester, New York. What is it? Federal agents have taken Hillary Clinton into custody. This is a prospect. This is what you would hear. There's a drone shot or whatever. She is being, and you see her getting into the back of a black Suburban. She's taken to Manhattan, where she's booked, fingerprinted, mugshotted, charged with 2 or 3 counts or whatever, released. People would not be able to sleep. Hillary Clinton indicted. Again, I'm saying, what if? It would be, everything would stop. Nobody would talk about it. Epstein, nobody would talk about it. Ukraine, nothing. And if I were Trump, I would have gone in their first day through my emissaries, through my lieutenants, and said, I don't care how you do it. I want her charged. Do you understand what I'm saying? You didn't hear this from me. I'm not telling you. I'm ordering you. Get her. One try, anything. So far, you know how many people? Nothing. Russiagate, nothing. Nobody. A couple of judges they got for aiding and abetting some of these illegals. And that's about it. This is the most piss poor prosecutorial group I've ever seen in my life. Those people went after. Today, Trump had his $500 million judgment reversed. Not the case. They said, well, it was too much. They went after him. They impeached him twice. They went after. They got him for the SA. They got him for this case. Somebody writing an NDA to Stormy Daniels. They went after him. They were going to keep charging him. They never stopped. They never stopped. They went after Roger Stone. They gave him that 4 o'clock in the morning, that CNN ninja routine. I mean, they and so far he's done nothing. They went after, they raided Mar-a-Lago. They went through Melania's underwear. They lied. They lied about documents he took. You think he would be so seedy? Trump doesn't have, we used to say in the South, you don't have a hair on your ass if you don't, and I think he is hairless. He doesn't have any, there's no ruthlessness. He doesn't have that Bobby Kennedy, not Bobby Kennedy Jr., but his old man. He was ruthless. Oh my God. They never stopped. This is the biggest wimp, or I've never seen. Sometimes Trump is a genius. He does some wonderful things. Let me show you how stupid it was the other day. You see this? This is where I'm screaming. Kristi Noem he's a head of Homeland Security or whatever. She wants to be a star. She wants to be a model or something. She got a lot of face work done, and she got she's got hair extensions, and she wants to be cute. And she's got her outfit, and she's got her cap, and she just wants to be Charlie's Angels. They call her Ice Angel or something. So they went and they announced, listen to this. There's a picture of the gate, of the fence, of the gate, of the wall, whatever, in the southern perimeter. And there's Mexicans going over 2-3 at a time. No matter how high, I don't know how they do it. They just climb up. You make it 10 feet, they go 10 feet. You go 20 feet, they just. So you know what she did? Swear to God, she announced, we're painting it black. Cue the Painted Black by the Stones. We're painting it black, or AC/DC Back in Black. We're painting it black. Why? Because black paint conducts heat, and it'll be harder to climb over. It'll be real hot. I shite you not. I'm thinking, oh my. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Cannot believe. This. So we started off with Epstein. Diddy. And I remember the time thinking, they better come up with something with Diddy real fast. And they didn't. Will Diddy get the maximum sentence? No. He could be looking at, the way it works in this country is you have something called the sentencing guidelines. And it's a piece of paper, and they look at it and they say, okay, what we charge you? You found guilty of 2 counts of this. Okay, let's say 50 points. Prior record? None. 0. Was he on probation at the time? No. 0. Prior restraint? No. Violence? No. No. Okay, add the 2. Let's say it's 120. You turn the paper over. 18 months. First time offense. In federal, there's no parole. You do 85% roughly, the routine. Meanwhile, you get credit for all the time you've been in jail. From the time he's been in, he could very well be released once he's sentenced. He's better off just sit there. Just be tight. Just be quiet. And he comes out. Now they're talking, he thinks he's going to be going to the Super Bowl. See, Diddy, this is the problem. I'm serious. Diddy thinks he's going to be a hero. Diddy thinks he got away with it. Diddy thinks he's going to go back and he's going to pick up where he left off, where he's back. Just like Billy Batts, when he got out, he thought he could pick up the Shylock. And Jimmy Burke said, oh, no, you don't. Remember that, Goodfellas. That's what Diddy thinks. I'm going to go back. They want nothing to do with him. He is so radioactive. He then gets upset. He's got a gazillion lawsuits coming at him. He's going to turn around. He's going to feel like he's been abandoned. And then he's going to say, you know what? I want to tell you a few things. And the question of questions, how Harvey Weinstein how they didn't say, listen, you're going to die. You're of no use to us. Give us something, anything. Did you know Epstein? Of course I knew Epstein. I know Epstein, Glenn. I can tell you stuff. They never touched him. Again, another, I don't know why. Who cares about Harvey? Harvey Weinstein was the guy that I would have had him testify. I, as a defense, would. So, Shaun, I don't understand anything.
What about the Menendez? What about the Menendez brothers?
I think that ship has sailed. You know what? Unless there's some kind of just plain old clemency, I think they've done enough time. I think they're so screwed up. And I think that what they did, the problem is that they're in our system, you have no defense for, I killed my parents because they did this to me. There's no diminished capacity. Even though you and I could say, I understand, you know what I mean? It's brutal. They acted crazy. They went back, did it again. They were partying. Okay, that was then. This is what victimization does to you. I think eventually they're just going to say, you know what, just get rid of them. Nobody cares anymore. How many people do you know even hear of them or know who they are? Talk to some of your friends. They don't even know who this guy is or who they are.
They're speaking to the board today, aren't they? Once today, once tomorrow.
And remember, what you do is you absolutely say that, number one, I admit 100% blame, guilt, responsibility. This will never happen again because I wasn't on a crime spree. I went after a person who directed their particular torture and predation against me. This won't repeat itself because the situation can't. I'm older. I've spent my entire life, blah, 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 blah. And I've got to live with this. And that's it. And they're finally going to say, once they get okay. I think now it's interesting what Gavin Newsom does. Remember, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, he can grant him, he can commute the sentence, clemency, pardon. He can do whatever he wants. Why he's waiting, I have no idea. This would be the greatest time for him to say, I stand with the victims of this type of thing, unlike the Republicans and MAGA and Epstein. You know what I mean? I stand with these people. I'm not countenancing them. I'm not agreeing with what they did. It was horrible. It was reprehensible. But they've suffered enough. And I think that we have to understand the particular plight and the dynamics, the psychological trauma that these people are in. And sometimes they do this because, let me explain something. The best example is the reason why you did it is when somebody is in a house that's on fire. Think of the 9/11, terrible pictures, and you jumped out to save your life, even though you could die because your house is on fire. They did what they had to do to stop this. May not make sense to you, may make no sense. Why would you? But when you're looking at this, you're in a house and that place is on fire and you feel the heat, this is the only way out. It may not seem plausible, but when you balance it, and that's the way it has to be portrayed. I think ultimately they're going to be granted. Newsom has got to do something. Newsom, because remember, this is the guy to watch coming up. He's the guy to watch. And I thought for sure they were going to swap him out for Kamala, but he is going to be so hard to beat, and he will do everything in his power, call in all the chips. Don't be surprised. But most people, though, Shaun, they don't know who these people are. They don't care about it.
Brilliant, Lionel. Thank you for that. What an excellent update. Looking dapper as well in the beige with the little blue. And please support Lionel. Here is his links. They're all in the description box. If you're watching on replay, they're in the live
Lionel
chat
Nation
right now. And anything you'd like to say in conclusion, my friend?
Well, let me tell you something. First of all, this coming in 5 days, it is my birthday. And I just want everybody, yes, and I expect lots of cash, Krugerrands, Bitcoin, Filipino Krugerrands. But one of the best things as I hit to the back nine, as I look towards the end of my valley, my journey, God bless you. And one of my greatest treasures is being friends with you, my friend. And I'm serious. We have had more fun, and you have no idea. People, Shaun, you are loved. We have this thing in this country called nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee, the cake. Nobody doesn't like Shaun Attwood. Nobody. Me, people despise me. And I understand it's well deserved. But nobody doesn't not like you. Okay?
You're getting nothing but love and happy birthdays in the live chat right now, my friend. So congratulations.
All the best. Thank you, my friend. Let's talk again.
Have a great day. Cheerio. Thank you.
Indeed.
Bye-bye. All right, folks, please support Lionel. Here's his links again. I'll put them in the live chat right now. And his links are in the description box. And guess what? In 45 minutes, I'm live on GB News talking about the possible release of the Menendez brothers. So look out for that one, folks. Going to go and get a bit of a rest now, and I'll be back in 45 minutes, GB News, talking about the release of the Menendez brothers. Let's see what they ask me. Should be interesting. All right, cheers.